So this is day 3 with Zephyr. And so again, just building up on, the things that we've been working on the past 2 days. And he seems a lot more settled today. So just going in and establishing, touching his face, playing around with the halter. He has actually been a very interesting Mustang because he's been very confident with his mouth. And he did offer to bite, but that's why I also have my palm out. But I kind of wanted him to investigate, and he ended up just licking my hand. And that's probably the first time actually I've had one this early on, one to just lick my hand. So that was a really fun little moment there. And oftentimes Mustangs are very guarded about their mouth, but he's pretty confident about it, and that's actually where he likes me to touch. And then you can see he gets a little worried when I move up the side, but then I was able to also use 2 hands today. And again, just reiterating, playing around, moving that halter around, because building up the steps to where then we can take the halter on and off. I also like to be able, in these early stages, to mess around and readjust the halter, and it gets them very confident about touching their face and kind of building that trust from there. So then giving him a minute here. I'm also kind of in this trying to find any spots that he might be willing that feel good to itch. But again, I went back to kind of messing around with the halter again. And it was a nice development that he's letting me use 2 hands now. And get a good release from him. And again, just going in and tightening up the halter. And then making sure he has a moment to release. He took a deep breath, lots of lick and chews, so that was really good. I'm just trying to see if I can inch back a little further and building up where I was able to touch his neck yesterday. And he's just letting me kind of stay here in this moment for a second. And there, that was really good because he let me touch his neck, and kind of the feeling is he's not bowing up as much. He got a little worried there because I went and decided to grab the stick and kind of reiterate touching with the stick, which again is an extension of my arm. And there he got a little spooked, so I just decided to kind of stay with it and bring him back up where we were, just to let him know it was okay. And you'll see me kind of talking. My 2 working students also have their Mustangs and pens next to us, so sometimes it can make it a little complicated because my guy could get spooked by something that was happening in the pens behind him. So it was a little bit where it was, but now he's back to being relaxed again. And just working on that touch since, that one segment where he got pretty worried and wanted to run away, I'm going to work again on the connecting, and this is a nice little spot that he was giving me. And I was going to go back with the stick. And that was really good there. And getting some nice releases. And then seeing if I can touch with my hand. And he still says, "No, ma'am." So then I'm going to go back and touch and rub with the stick. And every Mustang is very different. I've had some that respond much better to my touch versus the stick. And, some that don't like either, that have to take a little while. So, each Mustang is different, and it's always interesting going through and kind of figuring out what works best for each horse. So here you see I have the stick. I'm kind of practicing, kind of rubbing up and down his mane, because one of the things I like to do fairly early on is brushing out their mane. It's kind of a nice bonding, grooming thing that I like to work on. So I'm just taking that stick and kind of putting it through his mane, getting the idea of having an object going up and down on his neck. And then giving him some time. And then going back right here, you see he kind of wants to get a little bit in, kind of my armpit a little bit, and there he just got a little worried. So I thought, well, I might try to jump around a little bit, see if I can build his confidence, because I don't want to feel like I'm always sneaking around and going super quiet. That is something we have to do in the beginning to build their confidence, but then they have to get used to us kind of walking and moving a little bit faster. And so this is oftentimes when I will incorporate just very light. He can't take too much pressure, but you see I have just a little bit of movement and getting him to think about that. And when I do it, I'm going to be backing away in the beginning to kind of build him up, instead of, I'm not just going to go straight at him with it. But you can see here, because I've got my shoulder straight, he's a little bit more worried, a little bit more bowed up. And gave a little release there. And then I'm just gonna sit here and play around with just bouncing, adding a little bit of movement. And then when he touches me, I'll stop. And then I'm gonna see if he can follow me again, because again, if I can get him to follow, that is the way I can build the curiosity and confidence. But he's definitely sensitive to movement. So that's just something we're gonna work on building on. And so that was nice. So I'm just gonna kind of distract myself talking to my working students behind me. You took a nice deep breath. And this is really nice. He's letting me kind of be in more so on that shoulder, and I'm able to pet all the way from the top of the neck to the shoulder, so that was nice progression. And again, just working on the same thing, trying to just let him respond to that touch and realize that it's okay. And here he's actually letting me go back past the wither a little bit, which is good. And again, it's really fun to kind of enjoy the little moments. And again, that was very nice. He did not mind. So again, I'm going to build on. I was able to move my hand, and that didn't freak him out or anything, being in that position. And sometimes you'll see I just kind of keep my hand on them. Sometimes I can, in controlling my heart rate and my breath, I can help them kind of take a deep breath, because they definitely relate to us and connect to our energies. He's not quite there yet, but again, I've had Mustangs in the past where I can sit there and help them come down in their energy. And we're just working on it with Zephyr. You see, I was able to get a little bit further back. So now I'm going to see if I can build on that right side a little bit. And I'm just going to keep that positioning until he moves his haunches where I want, and then I'm able to touch. And then release. That was very good. And again, you can see I just like to use the bottom part of the stick, because I like the rubber end a little bit better. And going back here and playing around with the lead rope by his mouth, he's not too worried. And then another thing that we have to prepare them for is making the clip sound, because that can worry them. So you can see there I clicked on the clip a little bit, and he got a little worried, but then he was like, oh, that's not a big deal. And that was really good. Got some nice releases there. And that was a really nice session with Zephyr today. So I decided to let him kind of finish up there, and we're moving along.